watching that I am going for the inaugural or the launch of the book. This is the book which I was referring, iMEAnomics, India, Middle East, Africa. And I am just through with the inaugural, with the launch of the book, and Professor Saab is here, and they always say hit when the iron is out. And student fraternity was so enthusiastic to know about the concept. They were bubbling response. Then I requested Professor Saab to hold after the event, otherwise it will be difficult to catch him. I can catch him, no issues, but then the content, the freshness of the which is bubbling in his mind, I will lose that. So with that intent, I am trying to probe into his mind today and about the book, how it came into being, how its name he has coined, because he is very good at naming the books, and then what is the way forward and from where the prerequisite for the book will come. So with this background, I am going to Professor Sir. Professor Iyer is known for touching the subjects which is generally beyond imagination of the people, and they are need of the hour. Professor Saab, I have gone through the book. You know that I have written the preamble for that. But now only thing is the question which has been raised by the people, and kind of enthusiasm that we have seen among the young people at the university, at the institute, that shows that this is going, this has already registered in their mind, and they are not going to leave it here. That's the reason I want what is the synthesis of this book, and what is the preamble in your mind when you initiated. I have gone through the chapters, yes, and you have virtually covered everything. And rather I say this is just the nectar. There is a lot in your mind. So could you like in the first instance dwell on the about this book?
Yeah, see, this book was born in my mind quite a few years back. If you ask me, India, Middle East, Africa as a concept is for me a 10-year-old back thinking across the trade bloc theory. Because we had ASEAN, we have the SAARC, we have the European Union, we have the North American Union, we have so many, and then we have the G20s, which happened recently. We have the G77. We have G77 is forgotten, but it is the largest group actually, right? If you see what happened at the G20, the African Union joining in, it was a step done at a time. It's almost like replicating the G77. So there is a lot of overlapping in all this. So I wanted to have a clear direction where it will go. So I discovered that the wealth is lying in Africa and the wealth is lying in Asia. And in Asia, India has a lot of wealth, while China has a lot of resources. But India's resources today also, whether it's the mining, whether it's agriculture, whether it's anything, the resources are much larger. And we have barely done any justice to ourselves fully. So these things brought me to writing this whole idea. Is there a geographical thing that is different that was only India, Middle East, Africa?
All right.
I have seen that since the industrial era,
all right,
after the World War,
yeah,
we were already expanding because we had good relation with Middle East.
right.
We have also reasonably good relation in the past across non-line movements and all,
right,
across the African Union with them. So why not now bring it to a common platform,
right,
so that why have this geography dividing itself? So the new concept came, iMEA, and India, Middle East and Africa could be the wealthiest domain that could be seen,
right,
using sustainable development and renewable energy.
Right, right. It is said that the less productive nation make better use of such platforms, and you have aptly given a chapter dedicated to that, rather the first chapter in the book.
Yes.
How would you like to give a message to the people that yes, this is more valuable for countries like this?
See, I again go back to the American scholar. It is Ricardian, David Ricardo.
Right.
His Ricardianism is important. He introduced comparative advantage after Adam Smith brought the absolute advantage theory. So, as I keep telling people, that countries go to those businesses where they have endowment benefit. Like if India has iron ore, Africa has iron ore or copper, we'll go towards that. That is the endowment theory. But there is no absolute advantage. This was discovered by none other than David Ricardo. And Ricardian principles were on comparative advantage. Then came the great man Michael Porter, who sent us on the five forces theory and the four nation theory. With that, we tried to say this is the world, and we went to an idea called competitive. My problem with that whole issue is it's a derivative of comparative. So somewhere we left that, And I have reintroduced that in my first chapter. And I have connected with a new idea called renewability,
Yes, right.
which is born here. So Ricardian principles apply. I am telling the whole world and even my American friends, European friends, that David Ricardo's vision
Right.
has to be fusioned in comparative mode with renewability in the modern times, beyond sustainability.
Right.
It's quite simple but highly complex in execution.
Right.
Because Africa can unleash, for example, I said in the book, in the chapters on agronomy, I said 60% of arable land of the world is Africa.
Right.
It's the food basket of the world, sir.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
It's an example of sustainability.
Right.
So we can't continue to milk our land like that. We have to use resources organic way, sustainable way, and deliver to the whole world.
Right. I now I want to touch little harder things, because this book is just beginning.
It's a thought. It is a seed.
It is a thought. It is a white paper you have brought in.
Yes.
And it's good that you brought it in the form of a book, so that it can go to masses.
Yes.
And it can create a ripple effect. And I'm sure it is going to create a ripple effect. But then two main pillars of its success is the participation of the government and the funds. As I mentioned in my talk, the merry-go-round. Without money, nothing can go around.
Yes.
And without government support, nothing works. How do you feel that this, over a period of time, whosoever takes it further, they should bend the cat? How do they do that?
Again, I would like to take an example from the American economy.
Right.
If you watch the American economy, it's the private enterprise that has succeeded. Lockheed Martin, if it makes the aircrafts or designs it, it is the private company. GE is a private company, a world leader, done by Edison, who invented the bulb. He is the founder. Right, in Germany also similar things are there. Rudolf Diesel invented the diesel engine. And I was part of the group. Rudolf's company, Man Diesel. I was BMW's head in India and Asia. So I have a background to it. I believe in India, we haven't done this work enough. And these organizations are philanthropically committed to growing their nations. Now here we have to prepare this model. So we are in a neutral domain. So government will do the job. We will feed also. Now it is reverse feed.
Good.
And we are parallel the government's work, and we will be enabling every government that comes in.
Fantastic.
In a federal format. For us, every state is a champion for us.
Good, right.
So the 30 states of India and their power has to be unleashed. And in this, my partnership in this book is Indian federalism, Indian stuff, the Middle East environment to grow, because they have become the bridge everywhere. Even the one chapter on the European corridor is written.
I have seen that. You are very eloquently covered each and every nation.
Yes.
I must appreciate you that.
So therefore I'm saying, let's not misguide also only to corridor, because the Europeans are looking for business. They have technology, but they don't have the capital. Again, Ricardianism. America has the capital. So unless the fusion of these, and India has the EPC skill, we are very good people who can deliver. We can even do outsource farming. So I'm looking at this great model to first do the first 40 trillions.
Pardon my interruption, because I had targeted that I should finish this video in about 10 minutes. It's roughly about 8 minutes. Now I want you to dwell on 1 minute on the money part, financial, from where the money will come.
So this pandemic period gave me wisdom. Just like I'm a student, more or less, always student for life. So one of the things the pandemic did is, the 7 months we were in our house in Mumbai, literally, and many Mumbaikars were there, many people, because Maharashtra faced huge crisis. So that period I started thinking on world financing. And then I got this friend of mine, Mr. Brad Kempo, from Canada. He runs Global Capital Procurement Partners. So then he started telling me the problems, and he brought the problem in front of me, that the World Bank and all, when they fund, they don't fund on philanthropic basis also. They fund bilaterally. And the funds go only to countries. So he was talking about private financing. And he brought this idea to me that he can enable this private funding in a development financing model. When this happened, we started working, and I gave him the entire idea how to go across 3 domains. One is grants, this which we have shared. I have given you the idea. The second is through the model of debt itself. So we don't load this private development financing, does not get debt by loading country risk on you. So it's the biggest change in it. So even though you are taking in dollar, you don't have any country risk. Just say India के ऊपर 3.5% का country risk load होता है, with 3.5%. This will be zero. when you take this debt.
Okay.
So this is a big change.
Right.
That means our interest rate for these projects will come down to 5.5%.
Right.
Instead of the 8 to 10% it becomes unviable.
Right.
The third part is PPP, which is the most interesting.
Which is the last chapter you covered.
And this was predominantly the thought was to private sector.
Right.
But let me tell you, every public sector organization, I cannot do this PPP with the government because it needs a public-private model.
Yes.
The fund is private.
Right.
But the government, public sector is a public.
Right.
But they are as good as the private sector, they're competing with them.
Good.
If NTPC is making power, Adani is making power.
Right.
So they must be also getting access to cheaper capital.
Good. Right.
So my point is here the 100% risk will be taken by the funder.
Right.
And the expertise is the Indian partner.
That part is not covered in the book.
That is a simple part.
Right. I know you kept the secret with you. And something should always one should keep up the sleeve.
Yeah.
And with this, I would like to thank you for bringing such a noble piece of academics, which is not only need of the hour. Rather, I am sure, be it academician, be it the government official, I am going to see that in every conference, be it national, international, this subject will be under debate. And
one small point has been made, sir.
Yes.
When Tarun Kapoor Saab was the petroleum secretary, we made the CBG report.
Right.
Just like the solar report we made in 2013 for 100 gigawatt.
Exactly right.
अब क्या हुआ है कि now we have, that time only 12 plants were there.
Exactly right.
Under the Satat.
Right.
Now we are seeing 150 plants.
Yes, right.
What the book talks about is 3 lakh plants.
Yes, right.
So the book has gone ahead of my white paper also.
Exactly right.
And this means we will produce not only our gas, we will have 70% to export to the world through bio CNG or CBG.
Right.
So these are nuggets in the book.
Yes.
Every chapter is in its own rights, it can stand alone.
Yes.
But this is what I am looking at Africa because it's the largest organic waste producer.
Exactly right. Now, Africa is very dear to me, and Silk Route is very dear to me.
Yes.
Once my boss asked me which country you are not visited, I said South Africa. He said, okay, let us go to South Africa. So then we went there, and I find there is a lot of potential over there.
Right.
And you are aptly touched this subject very fine. And Professor Saab, thank you very much for your time. I know that you've got so many other people waiting for you, but then this crucial 10 minutes are very important because otherwise it
gives
freshness. We will lose the freshness.
It gives the chance to everybody to see what we are
exactly
doing.
Right. Thank you very much, and we will meet again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Namaskar.
ठीक हो गए? दोबारा दो उसको.